Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula will inspect the Gautrain station today. Mbalula will also travel on the train to see if all health measures have been put in place. You're seeing the visuals of the minister already sort of traveling to inspect some of the buses, which we understand are also going to be operating on a limited service. Trains are running from about 5:30 till 5 a.m. till 9:30 a.m. this morning, and will also run again from 3 to 7 p.m. with the exception of the airport service. A limited number of buses will also be available, like I said. So the minister there, as you can see, taking a seat, so as it appears, to test the comfortability of that sort of seating. But our reporter, Linda Mnisi, is at the Hatfield station in Pretoria with the minister. We'll touch base with him in just a moment to get a sense of what the plan might look like moving forward. But already earlier this morning, we got a sense that not many of the sort of motorists in Gauteng have taken up the opportunity to use the Gautrain. Those numbers, I anticipate, will increase in just a moment. So, Linda, if you can hear me, give us a sense of what the operation is like there now and what we're expecting throughout the course of the day.
All right, and as you can see, the Minister of Transport, Fikile Mbalula, monitoring the buses here at the Gautrain train station. He's making sure that they're adhering to the lockdown regulations, making sure that those sanitizers, of course, are in place. Going to try to move. As you can see, he's still, getting around. But let's roll back to you, Ayanda, for now, just to make sure that we're working properly.
The minister there is the Gauteng MEC for Transport, Jacob Mamabolo, who had also been at a different inspection over the weekend, also of the Gautrain. So this certainly being quite an important operation, considering, of course, that transportation can very easily become a vehicle, excuse the pun, for the virus itself as it spreads throughout the rest of the province. The Gautrain, however, limited to some commuters, considering, of course, some of the financial factors that have to be considered when you start thinking about who, in fact, uses the Gautrain. But that's also been quite significant considering how the virus in and of itself has been able to make its way into the country. We know that a lot of travelers from outside the country have been responsible, at least for the initial infections that we saw come through our borders. One can imagine that some of those patients may have used the Gautrain itself. And that makes this inspection particularly important. The last thing you need is for this particular convenience to lead to a health inconvenience with a whole lot more people infected by using the transport system. But Linda Mnisi is, of course, on the story for us now, joining us there in frame. Linda, give us an idea of whether the minister is looking out for any particular type of issues as he undertakes this inspection.
Indeed, and as you can see, the MMC of Transport there together with the Minister monitoring the situation here at the Gautrain station as they begin to phase in, their operations. They'll be monitoring, we'll be traveling using the Gautrain to the Sandton station and back here in Hatfield to monitor basically how they're working around, making sure that everyone who'll be getting on board is, of course, protected and making sure that, of course, everyone is sanitized. I spoke earlier to you about that disinfectant, full body disinfectant that the Gautrain has been procuring, and we're seeing it right now in action. People are actually sanitizing themselves as they go into the Gautrain station. Some of the measures that have been put in place here to try and make sure that there is a level of compliance and that this particular station and many others that are operating do not become a vehicle, as you mentioned, for infection. The Transport Minister there, as you can see, about to go in, he actually did ask that this not be done for the purposes of the camera, but also making sure that this is something that is done every day. I'm going to be going in as well, Ayanda, to make sure that we abide, of course, by the regulations. When we arrived in the morning, we were given masks, making sure that everyone who is here is also adhering to the regulations. The Transport Minister there, as you can see, making his way through. We're also going to be making our way in, Ayanda, as you can see. This is what it looks like, basically. Sanitize the entire body and making sure that, of course,
Yeah.
Okay, so the CEO, Ayanda, is about to explain to us how this thing works. So let's listen in.
Of Gautrain, As you know, we are starting here today with the operations of Gautrain. We have taken you to the bus. You saw that in the bus, the social distancing that is going to be kept. They are very innovative. When you go to the bus, you've got seats that are marked, no sitting. And then we went to the taxi because the Gautrain is integrated with the taxi industry. Now we are coming to the train. So as you come into the train, which is a normal routine every day, you go through this. And the CEO of Gautrain, Mr. Dax, will explain to you how does this work. And we all went through it. And this is what is happening right here at the station. But eventually we want this to also happen in the other normal stations of Metro Rail. As people come in, you get sanitized through this particular process. Mr. Dax can explain to you how the machine works.
Yeah. So this is over and above the regulations. We're piloting this. We're going to roll it out to every station, and then we're going to also support, as the Minister said, moving out to Metro Rail and to taxi ranks. What it is it's an aluminium booth with a spray. The spray is SABS approved. It's an organic spray. Each passenger who comes in gets a light coating over their clothes and their body that can last for up to 1 hour. So it's a very good disinfectant. Over and above that, there's a screen. There's a thermal imaging screen. So anyone whose temperature is above normal will set off an alarm. The security will then go to that person and say, excuse me, you're above temperature. And then maybe it was because of a hot trip or something. They will then be allowed to go again. If they still trigger an alarm, then they go home or go and report to a health facility. So I think a very good way of live screening in terms of detecting any transmission of the virus. Minister, shall we go?
All right, there you have it. And a brief explanation really of how things are going to work here at the Gautrain station. As you heard, that full body disinfectant, making sure that people are tested, their temperatures are tested, as well as making sure that they're disinfected, and making sure that everyone that comes in here at least really goes through the necessary checks to make sure that they are in fact virus free and that there isn't anything to worry about. Ayanda.
Right, Linda, part of my immediate relief is that you made it through that test safely yourself. So we'll leave things there, consoled that it appears that you too are fine. Linda Mnisi is our reporter live to us there from the Hatfield Gautrain station in Pretoria.